Welcome, dear visitors. We are happy to see in our Museum of Memory and Gratitude, which was founded on 30th of June 2004 to honor the 60th anniversary of liberation of the Republic of Belarus from the fascist occupants. Museum expositions show us heroism of Soviet people during the years of World War II. They feature our grandparents' strong will and character when they are fighting the occupants. Our museum can be called a family museum because here you can see the photographs and portraits of war veterans who has been and still are visiting our school. This school educates their children, grandchildren, and now educates their great-grandchildren. Expositions also show women heroism through suffering, pain, courage, and love. Those women went through the war fighting, working in the enemy rear, curing and caring for injured, praying and waiting without fault for their father, husbands, sons, and daughters. On the 22nd of June 1941, without declaring war, any pretension of warning fascist Germany attacked the Soviet Union. On the early Sunday morning at 4 o'clock, deadly fire fell upon the people peacefully sleeping in their beds. The city of Brest, especially Brest Fortress, were first to face the enemy fire. A time when brick walls and even iron melted, fragile people stood and fought. Years will pass and their heroism stood sung in songs, told in books, featured in books, and honored by the eternal fire. But then they were fighting. Everybody took part. Officers, their wives, children, parents. Fortress stood up to the enemy fire for the whole month. They didn't give up, even when Minsk was captured, despite lack of people, water, food, munitions. Here you can see the photographs and portraits of Brest Fortress defenders, men, women, children.
Fascists put their order on the occupied territory. They called in new order. Villages and towns burned, people were killed for the slight disobedience. Concentration camps and ghettos were the occupied territories. One of the prisoners of such a camp was Mikhail Savitsky, a famous Belarusian artist. Here you can see reproductions of his paintings from the series Numbers on the Heart. Auto-portrait, Summer Theater, Dance with Torches, Curse, Canada. The artist depicted scary and horrible faces of those who wanted to rule the world. Bronna Gora is the place where 50,000 of innocent people were executed. We can read about this horrible tragedy on the pages of book Memory. There were no such regions in Belarus. Fascists did not burn, kill, total plunder. Khatyn became the cemetery for 186 villages. These villages were not rebuilt after the war. All residents got killed. The sacred claim of Khatyn reminds us to take care of our land and remember the price we paid for our freedom. Stand 111, Belarus is a partisan country. Fascists did not manage to put our people on their need. No sooner did fascist-occupied Soviet Union partisan war started. Our republic was called a partisan republic. Both the old and the young stood up to the enemy. Whole families went to the partisan groups. Here you can see the map of Belarus. Location of main partisan brigades and groups and whole partisan areas not even crossed by fascists are marked on it.
Ivan Ivanovich Valsevich is our countryman. He was born in the village of Tikhny, a few kilometers away from Bereza. You can see his portrait on the flag here. He and other people are united by their great love to their homeland and by the generations of the young they defended. These amazing people are united by their great love to their homeland and by the generations of the young they defended. All the chronicles of the liberation of Belarus, the news of the Soviet Information Bureau, so laconic yet so important for the history of Belarus, are in front of your eyes. first free area of our homeland. Advance to the west and the black plague of fascism disappears from the map of our republic. The 3rd of July 1945, the capital of our republic, Minsk, is liberated. The 16th of July, Bereza. On the 28th, Brest. Red flag is over the fortress again. Our republic is free. Our army advanced to liberate Europe.
Women's lives are marked with special heroes and tragic fates. Thousands of women worn behind the enemy lives and mechanics, tractor drivers, etc. They made missile, harvested the crop, brought up children, prayed for husbands, sons, fathers. Thousands of women fought shoulder to shoulder with men. Nurses, intelligence officers, snipers, pilots. Women didn't have much time to worry about themselves as their children, their husbands, their sons, their relatives were in mortal dangers. This exposition is dedicated to the women who defend homeland throughout the war. The portrait of our fellow countrywomen in front of our eyes.
Here on the photograph you see the portraits and names of the leaders of the partisan movement and underground organizations. One of them is Piotr Mironovich, who gave his strength and warmth of his heart to reconstruct our ruined homeland after the war. Royal war is one of the special tactics of partisan movement and in Bealrus. Hundreds of enemy trains were blown up by our partisans. It greatly helped the regular Soviet army on the front. Partisan papers were published in the woods. People were told about the situation on the front, about hard times, about victories, giving hope in the struggle against enemy. Enemy will be defeated. We will win. Look at the portraits and photos. These are people who fought their victory over the fascists with their sweat and blood during the years of war.
Fominishna Kuprianova is an example of heroic mother. She gave birth to 5 children. All 5 died defending their native land. The youngest son Petr became the hero of the Soviet Union. This patriot woman gave her dearest sons to defend our homeland. To honor Anastasia Fominishna and all mothers whose children didn't return from war, a monument was constructed in the city of Zhodina. There is a village Barmuti in our region. It is also called the village of widows. The heroic deed of women and all people brought us the victory over the fascist Germany. You see the stand Chronicles of Liberation of Belarus. You can see first liberated towns on the map of Belarus. The victory was earned with heroism, blood and sweat, and hard work and self-sacrifice. The news from the front became more and more optimistic. The city of Minsk was liberated on the 3rd of July 1944 thanks to the successful Operation Bagration. Bereza was free on the 26th of July, Brest on the 28th of July.